Hello, boys and girls. It is Fido Day 40, Monday, May 18th. This is our last week. This is it. Our last 5 days of our 5th grade school year. Today, I want to talk with you about volume. Hopefully, you already listened to the volume song, and if you did, you learned that volume equals the length times the width times the height of a three-dimensional figure made up of all rectangles called a rectangular prism. We're also going to learn that volume can equal the base times the height. And you might say, Mrs. Steve, base times the height? The base means that the length and the width have already been multiplied together for you. It's actually less work when a book example or a test example or a quiz example gives you the base amount, because all you have to do is multiply it times the height then. So we're going to keep that out and we're going to turn in our books to page 955. And while we're doing that, I am going to grab a pen that actually writes better than this pencil. This pencil's slowly running out of lead, so I want to make sure I have a pen too here. All right, give me 1 second. I'm still here, don't worry. You didn't lose me. Might have felt like it. Doing the work here at my desk that's sits right out front. Okay, here we go. So up here, page 955, if you're not there yet, go ahead and pause the video and get there. In your book, it tells you, just like the video you hopefully watched, volume is the amount of space inside a three-dimensional figure. You can use either formula below to find the volume of a prism, of a rectangular prism. What does that mean? That means that all 6 sides are rectangles, like on this cooler. The top and the bottom are rectangular. The front and the back, the left and the right sides are all rectangles. Okay? So here's the first formula. I already went over it with you. Length times width times height. It's three-dimensional. Remember that 3. We're going to need that when we go to list our unit. The other formula for volume is the base times the height. The base, when they give you this B amount on a test, on a quiz, in your book, they already did the length times the width for you to find the base of the rectangular prism. So all that you need to do, all that's left to do, is multiply it times the height. Common units of volume are cubic inches, cubic feet, cubic yards, cubic centimeters, and cubic meters. We're actually figuring out how many cubes of each unit would fit in. So the best way to document that is you write the unit, which could be inches, feet, yards, centimeters, meters, and then remember I told you to remember that it's three-dimensional. You put a little 3 after the unit. So if it was all in inches, like this next example is, I, on my answer, am gonna write inches with a little 3. That is read cubic inches. This is read cubic units. Okay, let's look at example 1. On his family vacation to the beach, Armando filled a cooler with water and snacks. Find the volume of this cooler. So here's our length, 30 inches. Here's our width, 15 inches. Here's our height, 20 inches. So we are going to do 30 times 15 times 20. Now, I know I can change the order. So I'm actually going to do 30 times 20 first. because 30 times 20 is 6 with 2 zeros, 2 z's. And then I'm going to multiply times 15. Now, you might not know what 6 times 15 is, but I do. It's 80. Lies, Mrs. Steve. It's not 80. It's 90. And then I have 2 zeros in that problem. So it's 9,000. So over here, all of this multiplied together gives me 9,000. And you might have had to do that longhand, or you might have even taken out a calculator if this were on something that you were allowed to use a calculator on. Okay? And then the last thing you have to do is you have to look at its inches, like I said, cubic inches with that little 3D. Okay, 3D. The volume of this cooler is 9,000 cubic inches. Everybody see that? Great. Great. We're going to move on to page 956. We are looking up here at the top at example 2. And it's a reminder right here. The associative property of multiplication tells you the way in which factors are grouped does not change the product. You can group the factors to make the multiplication easier. You can also change the order. The commutative property tells you you can change the order. So take a look. A rectangular prism. Top and bottom are rectangles. Front and back, right and left. All rectangles there. So we are going to take the length, 17, times the width, 7, times the height, 9. 17 times 7 times 9. Now see how they grouped these? They did that because you probably know 7 times 9 is 63. So now all we're left with is 17 times 63. I don't know my 17s, at least not all the way up to my 63rd one. So we're going to set this up, long multiplication here. 7 times 3 is 21, regroup my 2. 7 times 6, 42, plus 2, 44. X is O. Remember that? 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 6 is 6. Add 'em up, add 'em up. There it is, 1,071. This is volume, it's 3 dimensions. This time they measured it in centimeters. So we're going to put centimeters with our little 3. So the volume of that rectangular prism is 1,071 cubic centimeters. Let's move on. Length is 11. Width is 7. Height is 9. 11 times 7 is 77 times 9. I don't know 77 times 9 off by heart, so I'm going to set it up like this. 7 times 9 is 63, regroup my 6. 7 times 9 is 63, plus the 6, 69. 693 millimeters, 3 dimensions, cubic millimeters. Number 2, this is the one where they already did some of the work for you. See what I mean? They already did the multiplying of 4 times 6, and they get 24. So all you need to do is take the 24 times the 12. Again, I don't know 24 times 12 off by heart. So I'm going to set it up like this. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. X, O. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. Add them up, add them up. There it is. 288. They did this one in feet. 3 dimensions, cubic feet. So the volume is 288 cubic feet. Let's try number 3. The volume is the length, 4, times the width, 2, times the height, 3. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. They measured that in inches because it's volume, it's cubic inches. Number 4. The length, 26, times the width, 12, times the height, 3. Well, let's group these together. 26 times 12 times 3 is 36. 36 times 26. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 3, 18, plus 3, 21. X is O. 2 times 6 is 12. Regroup the 1. 2 times 3 is 7. Add them up, add them up. There it is, 936. That was in centimeters, 3-dimensional centimeters, cubic centimeters. Number 5. Length, 11. Width, 11. Height, 11. I know 11 times 11 is 121. I got to multiply that times 1 more 11. Well, 121 times 1, here we go. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. X, O. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 1 is 1. Add them up. 1,331, it's inches. Sorry, I made an M. Inches, cubic inches. 1,331 cubic inches. Number 6. 9 times, which is the length, times 16, which is the width, times 23. Lots of multiplying on this one. 16 times 9. 4, regroup my 5, 144 times 23. Times 23. Here we go. Let's just do it times the 3. 3 times 4 is 12. Regroup my 1. 3 times 4 is 12 plus my 1 is 13. Regroup my 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus my 1 is 4. X is over the regrouping and over the 3. O under the 2. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. Add them all up. Add them up, add them up. 3,312 meters, 3-dimensional meters, so cubic meters. 2 more together. Yay! See, this is what I mean. They already did the length times the width for us. So we just have to do that base amount times the 9, times the height. I hate how they have that, the way that they labeled that. They needed an arrow here. Mrs. Steve, editing the math book again. There it is. So 108 times 9. Let's do it up and down. 8 times 9, 72. Regroup your 7. 9 times 0 is 0, plus the 7 is 7. 9 times 1 is 9. 972. It's centimeters, it's volume, it's 3-dimensional, 972 cubic centimeters. This one, they did the same thing. Wasn't that nice of them? They already did the length times the width, and they also labeled this height a lot better here. So all we have to do is the base times the height. Well, 9 times 11 is 99. So 90 times 11 is 990. We add on 1 Z. They're measuring in feet. This is volume, cubic feet, boys and girls. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see this. If you need to take a look at anything, you could pause this if I moved a little too quickly. Your job from the directions is to complete 959. There it is. 959. There's a vocab check. That means you might have to flip back and look at some of the vocabulary that are here, okay? But numbers 1 is length times width times height. Number 2 is base times the height. Take your time on this. If you have questions, email me. When this is done, ask someone or do it yourself. Take a picture of 959 and email it to amanda.steve@westernbeaver.org. There it is, .org. I miss you guys. 4 more days.